Hi and welcome again to my YouTube channel. My name is Yaira Tay Thompson and I am the immigrant mother in Europe. Before we go further, you know what to do. Click on the subscribe button if you haven't already and the notification bell so you always know when there's something new for you. Alright? Okay. This week we are going to be talking about learning through play, and it's something I'm really excited about. So stick with me and see what I have for you. Learning through play is a really exciting topic. It's something that I use in my house every day. Basically, it's a term used in education, I'm a teacher, and psychology to explain how children make sense of the world around them. Okay, now play is very important in your child's life because it's the way they make sense of the world. It's how they build their self-confidence. It's how they mature. Okay, and it's how they link abstract concepts to concrete concepts. And we love play in my house. I mean, with two boys you have to love play, right? It's especially beneficial for children within the ages of 0 to 5 years old because that's when they're basically like absorbent sponges and they soak in everything. Now from the ages of 5 upwards, they can better make connections with the world, so your focus on play can diminish a little bit and you can find more innovative ways to get them to learn and absorb material instead of rote memorization. All right, in my house, structure is simple. Whenever the boys have to get busy, I find a way to engage them in their own toys that they use, but make it educational so that I know that they are benefiting and gaining something from what they're doing at that time. And I'll show you 10 different examples of what both boys do. Mixed. Sometimes the oldest can do all 10, but the youngest does a bit of what I have in store for you. So stay with me and see what I have for you. So the first toy I'm going to show you guys are stocking caps. Okay, my baby does not love stocking toys, but his brother loves them. I have no idea why, especially since he's a toddler. But we love these stocking cups because it gives him an idea of the concept of big and bigger and biggest and small and smaller and smallest and how they go in and how they fit in. So this is a great way to get your child between ages 6 months and upwards activated, okay, and learning concepts as well, connecting them with the real world. Stocking cups, amazing. Another item we love to use in this house, another version of stacking toys, okay, and they also go by the same concept, but this he sometimes likes to play with just because they fit the ring around that, and so that's fascinating for him for like 2 minutes and then he loses interest. But this is also another great concept for your children to learn, and it's a great Montessori tool as well. So yeah, I will highly recommend it. It's also pretty affordable and cheap to get because I picked this up from IKEA, and we all know IKEA has like really affordable prices. So this is a really great investment, a great buy for your child also between the months of 6 and upwards. All right. So the next thing that is like a hit in my house are these plates. So this is a number plate. I know you can't really see it clearly right now, but it's 1 to 0, and this is ABC, but this is like the Danish version. So we have A to Z, and then we have our 4 extra special alphabets. And my 4-year-old really loves this. They go with these beads, and they're too tiny for my 1-year-old to play with because he could choke on them. So you have to keep an eye on your children. If you have really younger kids at home as well, they can't play with it. But basically what you do with them is you take out a few and then you build. All right, and they come in different colors, so you can mix the colors up and learn. This way your kids can learn their numbers and they can learn how the pattern of how to draw them. Okay, so first by using concrete materials to build a 1, then when you graduate to pencil work, they know that a 1 goes that way, right? This takes hours and hours. He loves to fill all of the numbers, and then he goes on to the letters, and so it gives me a little time to at least clean up whilst he's doing independent work, so I can finish the laundry or start dinner or something. So that is great. It's also easy to find. I picked it up from my local grocery store, but you can also find it on Amazon if you're an Amazon shopper. But yeah, so that's number 3 on my list of amazing finds for your kids. A lot of people don't know about centicubes, but I love them. All right, so I use this a lot with my pupils in school, especially my special needs pupils, because it's an easy way to get them to understand what I'm teaching them, because special needs pupils especially work with concrete materials. Okay, it's easier to get them to understand concepts that way. And right now in my house, we're using this to learn about numbers. So I build my number 1, and then my 4-year-old has to mimic it. Sometimes he tries to find the same colors, or sometimes he just builds it with the same number of centicubes that I built mine with. Okay, and this is amazing because he loves Legos, so he gets to use something that feels like a Lego. I have to be careful how you build this because it doesn't have, yeah, but so he gets to build something like a Lego brick, but then it's not really a Lego, if you get what I mean. But this also keeps him entertained for hours, so then I get whatever work I have to get done. It's literally a lifesaver in my house. And he builds anything from numbers to, he likes to build robots with them as well. So basically that's a 1, that's a 2, so you can build them and then your children can mimic them, and that way you have some real work going, independent time going for them whilst you're busy with other chores. This also stimulates them. Another way you can use this, sometimes when I want him to practice his colors, because he learns them in 2 different languages, is that I get him to sort them out in the different colors, and then that way if you have any colorblind kids, this is a great way to be able to tell, because you would see if they're mixing colors or anything. But yeah, that's also another activity for them to do, especially if you have a lot of them like I do. You can tell them to sort the entire bag into different colors, and that's also an activity for them to do. And these are called centicubes. Okay, so my 5th material that I use with my son is this. It was on sale in one of the local grocery shops. They tend to do that every week. They have like something random on sale, and so it was pretty cheap, so I picked it up. And what it is they have cards with a drawing on it and a word that's the name of the drawing, and then the letter, how it's written in capital letters and small letters. So basically this is a duck. In Danish we say en, so he has to find that and match to that. And I recently started this with my 1-year-old, but my 4-year-old is originally the person I bought it for, and he also loves to play with it. Usually get about 10-15 minutes out of him before he gets tired of it, because it's just a limited number of cards and animals. I think just about 10 of them, so there's only so many times you can use 10 animals and then he gets bored. But this is also a great way to keep your children stimulated. You can also find a way to vary how you use them. If you find something like this, I'm sure this should be easy to find online. What's it called? It's called Matchspel i tre in Danish, and it's in English it's called Wooden Matching Game. So I'm sure if you Google it, you'll probably be able to find a variation of it on Amazon or eBay or Etsy or somewhere that sells crafty stuff. But that's also something that keeps us busy out here. These are my absolute favorites, okay? And I'll tell you why. They are called Magna blocks, or you can call them magnetic building blocks. There are different brands that have them on the market, and depending on how many in a set you buy, they're a bit on the pricey side, but trust me, they are worth the money. And both kids love to play with them, even my 1-year-old. And because they're magnets, it's easy for him to also build, so he loves to build them with his big brother. And basically you could get them, you can build them in any way you want to. So it also comes with some instructions, and some pictures of ideas of things you can build. So my son has built a Ferris wheel, he's built a truck, a car, he's built a big robot, he's just basically built a box like that, and he basically can let his imagination go with him. And this is a game that he can play for hours and hours on end. This actually is a lifesaver in my house because it gives me a lot of free time to get something done around the house while they both have independent play, and they hardly ever argue when they're playing with this because there's just enough of the bricks for both of them to play with. And it's pretty easy. See, magnets, so it helps you get the stuff where you want them to get to, and then it's also easy to get packed up when you're done playing. Comes with different shapes. I really love playing with the squares, but there are rectangles, there are other shapes, there's a semicircle, so it's very diverse for them to play. And like I said, it comes with a book, so you can see there are all of these different options that your children can build. And so he tries to build as many as he can, and yeah, so there are also letters and numbers that come with them. So this was an amazing investment as a birthday present for him. So this I won, his 4-year birthday, I won the game with that gift. Okay, so 7 on my list are these wooden blocks in numbers, and there's 2 numbers. There are 20 wooden blocks, 2 numbers each, and on one side is a number, and on one side is a figure, like figures with the number of that equates to the number on the other side. So this is a block for 4, and that's 4 squares on there, so you count 1 2 3 4. So that also keeps them busy. This is 3, and it has 1 2 3. This is 7, and it has 7 leaves on as well, and so on and so on. So this is also a great way to keep the boys entertained. The younger one likes to build them into like a castle like thing, and the older one likes to match them for them to fit. So that's, I think, number 7 on our list. Number 8 on the list are flashcards. Okay, and this is one example of flashcards that I made for my students, and I also use them at home for the boys. This is how I taught my son his numbers from 1 to 20. That's where we are now, so he can say 1 to 20 in both English and Danish. And then he has to use we have an activity that I have on Instagram actually, where he uses pegs, and he has to clip how many, use the number of pegs that equate to the number on the flashcard. So this is 1, so he has to take 1 peg and clip it on. This is 2, so he has to take 2 pegs and clip it on, and so on and so forth until he gets to 20. So that's an example of one activity you can do. Another way I also use them is I shuffle them up, and then he has to put them in order from 1 to 20, so I know that he can do it, and he can remember in what order the numbers go in. So that's number 8 on my list, and that is also a great activity that keeps them occupied. If I give him flashcards from 1 to 20 and I tell him put it in order and recite it in both English and Danish, I get a good shower time out of that, and I can even wash my hair, and you know what that means to a mom. So that's something I would advise you to invest in if you haven't already. The next on my list are puzzles. All right, this is for the youngest, and he's not such a fan. He thinks it's made to be hidden, so he takes these out and he hides them all over the house, and I have to hands for them. But this is for older brother, and basically he has to put the letters or the numbers in where they go. That could also keep him occupied for hours at a time. So that's a great activity for him to do. Okay, so coming up at the end of my list, this is a fan favorite in my house. Both kids love it, and I'm sure you know what it is. It's modeling wax, known by the most popular name Play-Doh. This is homemade, so it's edible, but after they play with it a couple of times, I don't like it when they put it in their mouth. But it's made from organic materials, down to the coloring, which is a food grade coloring. So my favorite way of playing with this, since we're still working with numbers in my house right now, is that I build numbers with them, and I have a mini video of this on Instagram that you can check out. So I build numbers, and then my son has to mimic exactly what I do. So we sit side by side here at this table, and then he sees what I do, and then he mimics it. All right, yeah, I'm not as artsy, so my numbers aren't amazing and look perfect, but you get the drift. So we're gonna quickly build 1 to 5 with Play-Doh, and you would see how easy it is even for a non-crafty teacher slash mom parent. And then you know that you can do this at home with your kids as well. This is an easy activity to do with them, and then once you do it with them a few times, they get the hang of it and they can do it by themselves, and then you can give it to them as independent activity to do whilst you focus on other things that need focusing on, right? Alright, so there we go. So we have 1 to 5. Yeah, and so this is a great activity for your toddlers to learn their numbers, or alternatively their letters. It's really simple, it's low cost, it's something that most parents have around the house anyway, because let's face it, which child doesn't have Play-Doh lying around? And if it's something you have never bought yet, you can always make it at home. There's going to be a recipe on my blog soon if you've never made Play-Doh before, and you can just grab a cheat sheet from there on what I use to make mine at home. So not to waste any of your time, I have very questionable B here, but we're gonna use it because we're running out of time. So there we go. We have 1 to 5 and we have ABC, and that's a great way to get your kids to learn as well. They can also build butterflies, and my son loves to make food because we have all of these fancy things that go with them, and cutters, and his set came with something like this, so you can basically make like a pasta that comes out of it with his Play-Doh. So yeah, this is amazing to work. Now I don't want to stop using it. It's amazing for your kids to play with for hours on end and learn something as they play with it, right? Okay, let's move on. Let me not get caught up in it. Let's move on. And my very last item that my kids love to play with, Legos. We live in Denmark, so of course, Legos. Legoland, the land of Legos. I don't mean the amusement park Lego land. But yeah, we can build this in many different ways. We can use them for many different things. We have them in many different sizes, and this is the one I like to keep on hand in their Montessori nook because it's an ideal size for both my 4-year-old and my 1-year-old, so I don't have to worry about choking hazard. My 4-year-old is only allowed to play with the very small size when he's with his dad or with me, so supervised and without his brother around us, so we don't have to worry about him choking. But Legos are a great way to get your child to learn through play. They can be very imaginative and build so many different things. And when you have them in different sizes and different blocks, let's see if I'll find another block size here. Yeah, so this is 4, this is 8. So you can also use them for math activities, you can use them for art activities. So they're a great way to get your child engaged, and they're very colorful, and kids love colorful stuff. So it's a win-win basically. And that's the end of today's vlog. I hope you learned something. I hope you get some ideas on things around your house that you already own that you can use and help your children to learn through play. This way you don't have to go out and invest in extra stuff. I just showed you what we have. What you have might be different, so you can work with what you have to get your kids to learn something new and something educative, and not just play for the sake of playing, but also play in a way that they can link what they're playing with and their imagination to their everyday lives and to what's going on outside their little bubble. Until next week, I'm Yarate Thompson again, and please subscribe, like, click on the notification bell, and next week I would have something different for you. Until we see you again.